I think that's a result that the entire rugby nation were definitely not looking towards definitely a different side that we're seeing in New Zealand. And just to give us a little bit more insight as things are unfolding in France is the Newzroom Afrika editor and anchor Vaylen Kirtley, who's joining me live from Toulon. I think she's not even in Paris, she's in Toulon this afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome back home to Newzroom Afrika, Vaylen.
Hello, Bonani. It feels so good to say that. Hello, Lebo, and good afternoon to our viewers. Yes, I made my way from Paris along with the team that I'm traveling with from Paris to Toulon. The Marseille game where South Africa will get their campaign underway against Scotland tomorrow is about a 50-minute drive from Toulon. But importantly about Toulon, besides the fact that it's absolutely magnificent here in southern France, is also that this is the base for the Springbok team. So I've managed to spot a couple of the Springboks just walking by, enjoying what is beautiful sunshine. Although I will say to you, it's a little bit cooler here in southern France than it was in Paris. Hearing from some of those French fans that you saw previously before you came to me, Lebo, full of emotions, and that's exactly what it was like at the Stade de France yesterday. It's all started off with the opening ceremony, a magnificent short event, as we know it always is when it comes to the opening ceremony of a Rugby World Cup. Emmanuel Macron being booed and not really being able, the crowd really being silent while he was actually giving his speech, and having asked a Frenchman, why is that? The unpopularity of the leader, he says, you know, French people are very, very emotional. And that's certainly what you see come out when they support their team. Fantastic victory for them. I suppose it's a spectacle of rugby, however. It wasn't necessarily what we were expecting. A lot of kicking, also a lot of question marks around a New Zealand team that were hoping to put to bed all of the question marks that were raised following that record defeat to the Springboks in their final warm-up game in Twickenham. It's a fantastic spectacle. That was Group A. It got the tournament underway at the moment. Also in Group A, it is Namibia up against Italy. You know, Namibia, our neighbors, they have played in 6 different tournaments. They haven't yet won 22. They're now on their 23rd, 22 of their Rugby World Cup matches. They were hoping, crossing fingers, that Alice Coetzee men could actually do it today against Italy. But the last time I checked, the score currently in Saint-Etienne, which is from where I am about a 4-hour drive from Toulon, they were 31-8 down. So there's lots of excitement. It's magnificent here. And something that we noted when we were in Paris, besides the heat and besides the conditions, which you actually didn't even see last night in the game with, you know, the kind of muggy conditions and a little bit of slipping of the ball and some handling errors. Some of them may have been due to the humidity, others maybe just nerves and pressure. But one of the things that we also noticed while we were in Paris was that there wasn't too much official Rugby World Cup branding. However, when we drove into Toulon, I think maybe because this is the base for the world champions, the Springboks, there were South African flags, which was so wonderful to see as you drove down. What is, you can just imagine, you can see the kind of vibe that it is here. It is a seaside, it's a tourist destination, very quiet, really relaxing, really beautiful, which I suppose is exactly what Coach Jacques Minaba and Director of Rugby Russell Eras wanted for the team, just for them to get their mind in gear ahead of their opener against Marseille. But as you drive through the streets, not too many high-rise buildings, real seaside town, you see lots of South African flags and bienvenue Springboks, which means welcome Springboks.
It absolutely sounds fantastic, Vaylen. Before we let you go, because we can see exactly where you were, but are you seeing South African fans in numbers, especially there where you are with the rugby, with the Springbok team? Are there a lot of South Africans that have also decided to go with the team and support them?
So we saw a couple of South Africans last night at the Stade de France. We have spotted a couple of them in Paris, and you can see a Springbok fan because whether it's a game or not, they've got their Springbok jerseys on, or their green and gold. They're wearing something of our national colours. So I have seen a couple of South African fans. We literally just got to Toulon about 2 hours ago. So I've managed, as I said, to see a couple of the Springbok players just kind of walking around. This is their team base here in Toulon. But I expect that we're going to be seeing a lot more fans when South Africa gets their tournaments underway in Marseille. So from where we are to Marseille, it's about a 50-minute drive. I'd like to just actually give you a bit of a sense of what it's like. I keep on saying it's really beautiful and it's like a seaside town. So just give me a moment to give you a feel of what it's like here in Toulon. So I am by the promenade. I mentioned that there were some South African flags that said Bienvenue Springboks as you drive through the little streets. But this is kind of what it looks like on the promenade. Beautiful southern French tourist destination. Absolutely magnificent. And I have to show you, of course, a South African flag. So this is the kind of feeling here in Toulon, and this is where the Springboks are and where the Springboks have been since they came from Corsica just a week ago to get their mindsets in the right place ahead of the Rugby World Cup and the defense of their world crown.
All right, thank you very much. That's Vaylen Kirtley coming to us from Toulon. I swear my French will definitely get better by the end of this Rugby World Cup. That's our sports editor and anchor just giving us the latest. And as you see, a touch of South Africa wherever we go. That's it for your sport for now. I'll be back a bit later.